Hi, dear students, how are you? I hope you're fine. Today we're gonna take section 2 of chapter 1. We're gonna speak about production possibilities curve. So, production possibilities, we're gonna have some alternatives. So, when I say possibilities, so I have alternatives. Production possibilities curve, I have a graph that shows alternative ways to use an economy's resources. As you know, resources are, yes, limited, scarce. Excellent, I can hear you. So I'm gonna use what? I'm gonna use alternative ways, right? So I have in my graph, I have something called axis that shows the categories of goods and services. For example, farm goods and factory goods can also display any pair of specific goods or services like hats or shoes. Let's see together. I have here graph, I have here a curve. When we begin by deciding which goods or services to examine. So I'm here. The first step, what to do to decide. Okay, which goods or services I will examine. Let's go with farm goods and factory goods. When I say farm goods like watermelon and factory goods, I'm talking about here, for example, shoes. Therefore, we have here the shoes and the watermelons became the values shown on the graph. So we have here a graph. In this graph, I have what? I have here the shoes and I have here what else? The watermelons. I have here the shoes on y-axis and I have the watermelon in x-axis. Okay, the shoes here are shown in millions of pairs and also the watermelons are shown as millions of tons. Okay, so I have here what? If I talk about here zero axis, zero here, it's zero and zero, the origin. I have here zero and zero, and we took this before in mathematics. We took it in the statistics, especially. So when I say zero and zero, so it means that there is no production of what? Of shoes and watermelon. Okay. When I look at here, point A, it's very easy to know that when I talk about this, I have zero what? Zero of the production of watermelon. This means no watermelons. And when I have this point, can you see this point? Yes. I have 15, yes, 15 millions of pairs of shoes. So when I have no watermelons, I have here 15 millions of pairs of shoes. What about the other graph? I have here another graph. Graph B shows me point F. Point F shows me what? No shoes are produced here. We don't have here the y-axis. It's zero on y-axis. And what about x-axis? I have on x-axis, it's 21 millions of what? Millions of watermelons. So I have here 21 millions of watermelons with no shoes are produced. Okay, guys. So this means that in the two graphs, I have what? I have the option of producing just one what? Just one kind of goods, right? So what about if I have one more choice? It isn't always all or nothing. There are other choices. Yes, I can make a mix here. What if we wanted to make watermelons and shoes together? If you plot those points, you have just drawn a production possibilities frontier. It shows the it's here shows it shows the maximum combination of for the two products. Let's see what I'm talking about here by using this very clear and very easy graph. I have here a table and I have here my graph. As you see the table here shows me the quantities given. I have for the watermelons and the shoes. For the watermelons, when I have 0 and 15 for the shoes, I have 8 for the watermelons, of course, in millions of tons, and I have here 14 for the shoes, millions, of course, of pairs, and so on. Then the next step I'm gonna do, I will plot my given dots or given here points on the graph 0 and 15. So 0 on here x-axis and then go up on y-axis until 15. This point A represent what? Represent here the point which I have no watermelons and 15 millions of pairs of shoes. At point B, we have here the production of what? The production of 8 million of tons of watermelons, and with 14 millions of what? Millions of pairs of shoes. So what we see here, that we have here a graph. Okay, this graph shows me what? Shows me whenever I use more or produce more here watermelons, what happens to the, yes, more point B, for example, I have here 8 million of watermelons, right? Well, 8 million tons of watermelons. And what happens to here the shoes? It's 14. When I talk about point C, I'm having here what? 14. This means that the watermelons, I exceeded the production of the watermelons, right? What happens to the shoes now? It reduced, okay? It has been reduced. So I have here, whenever I exceed here the production of the watermelons, what happens to the shoes? I will reduce the production of the shoes. Okay, so I have here, what I have here, production possibilities frontier. This means that, and this is very easy. Yes, it is. So, trade-offs. Each point on the curve reflects a trade-off, right? Examples: the top has more shoes but fewer watermelons, as we said. The bottom has more watermelons but fewer shoes. Why, guys? The mix of this, or why we have here, when we have the bottom has why we have more watermelons, okay, with fewer shoes, and vice versa. So we have here some factors that affect what we say, like land, labor, and capital. Why? Because land, labor, and capital are what? Yes, I can hear you well. Are scarce, are limited. So I have to choose. For example, if I have the labor, or I mean by labor, do you remember? Yes, labor means the workers. If I have 5 million workers that are gonna work in the field of here, the field of shoes making, or the other one, watermelon agriculture. So I will choose to do what? If I choose all of the population to do what? All of the population to do, okay. So I will choose what? I will choose here for the workers to do what? To I have here, as I told you, 5 million, for example, workers. They are gonna work on either the shoes or the watermelons, or the agriculture of the watermelons. So I will choose how many will work in the agriculture, or how many will work on the factory. uh, as if it's the same like the land. I'm gonna take all the land for agriculture, or I'll take all the land for the factories, or I'm gonna distribute the land between what? Between the agriculture and the factories, or in the industry. So this is what? This is scarce. So when I talk about the labor, I'm talking about the land, I'm talking about the money capital. So I know that they are scarce. More of one thing means less of another. It's a must. How efficient the economy is, whether the economy has grown or shrunk. What can a graph shows us? Okay, now, as economists, we do what? We make analysis for the graphs, as I told you before. Okay, the analysis here, or interpreting the graph, shows me what? How efficient the economy is, whether the economy has grown or shrunk. Opportunity cost of a decision to produce more of one good or service. So the production possibilities frontier represents what? An economy working at its most efficient level of production. Efficiency, I will show you on the graph. Efficiency, using resources in such a way as to maximize. Okay, guys, efficiency means what? I will use the resources in such a way to do what? To maximize the production, or the output of a goods and services. Sometimes things happen, workers laid off, bad conditions. This gives me what? This gives me underutilization. At any point inside the curve, we have here underutilization. Underutilization means using fewer resources than the economy is capable of using. So the curve represents as if it were frozen in time, although the country and resources are constantly changing. People, land, technology. When an economy grows, economists here say that the entire production possibilities curve has shifted to the right. When an economy shrinks, this is very important, guys. When an economy grows, economists says that the entire production possibilities curve has shifted to the right. This means my graph like this, and I have here one curve. So when it grows, so it will come to the right here, or I can say outwards, or I can say to the right. When an economy shrinks, so this means that my curve will be shifted to the left. Okay, this is very important. Yes, when an economy shrinks, that they say they shifted to the left. Go to war and lose land, population ages, become less healthy, labor and human capital would decrease. Okay, guys, so we have here this graph, and this is very important graph. It shows me the production possibilities curve, future production possibilities frontier. It shows me here the analysis of what the analysis of the curve for the economists. They see what I have here. This curve shows me what this curve. What happened here? Let's do this. What happened here to this? Okay, to this curve. Okay, just a moment. What happened here? If I say here the point S shifted to the right to give me the point T. So what happened here? Yes, we have here economic growth, right? Okay, so if I say a point G, if I talk about point G, what do you think? Underutilization. Yes, this is a point of underutilization. So as we see, it's very easy now to have analysis for that graph. Okay, what about the cost? The cost, we will talk about this next session. I hope you understood everything. Please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to send me on the SCL.